Alright, we're going to go ahead and get straight to it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get straight to it. First and foremost, as always, we're going to start out by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his only begotten Son, Jesus the Christ. Secondly, as always, I want to say shalom to all my brothers and sisters of the 12 tribes of Israel. My name is Chief Priest Lithiyel.
Shalom, my name is Priest Ron Ben Israel.
And we are with the Holy Nation of Israel. And we're back again with another short topic. But before we get into it, I want to say to all my brothers and sisters out there, hey, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, comment on the video if you can. Follow us on Holy Nation of Israel at Facebook. You can find me at Lithiyel Ben Israel on Facebook, brethren.
And you can find me at Ron Ben Israel on Facebook.
And you can find the bro on Facebook as well. So, with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the class, yo. The title of this class is The Narrow Way, a Broad Field, and a City Building. Let's open up with 2nd Ezra 8.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, starting at verse 1. And he answered me, saying, The Most High hath made this world for many.
This world right here has been made for many. Keep reading.
But the world to come.
But the world to come, read.
For few.
The world to come has been made for few, or is made for a few. Keep reading, priest.
Verse 2. I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, that it giveth much mold, a mold, whereof earthen vessels are made.
Much mold comes from the earth, yo. The mold gives forth much mold in which earthen vessels are made. Earthen vessels like cups and pots and things like that, yeah. Plates pottery. Made out of pottery. Exactly. Keep reading.
But little dust that gold cometh of.
But this earth, it only gives little dust in which the gold cometh of. Keep reading, priest.
Even so,
read.
Is the course of this present world.
Even so is the course of this present world. In this present world, this earth gives forth much mold in which earthen vessels are made. In this present world, it only gives forth little dust in which gold cometh of. Keep reading, priest.
Verse 3. There be many created.
The many created in this world are as the mold in which the earthen vessels come. The many that are created in this world are as the earth when it comes down to the mold. And you know the earth puts out a lot of the mold. Keep reading.
But few shall be saved.
But few shall be saved. The few is making reference to the little dust in which the gold cometh of. Go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9. A few shall be saved. The few that are going to be saved, they're going to be saved because they believe. The few of the many that are going to be saved, they're going to be saved because of their works and their faith. Let's prove that real quick. Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 7.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 9 starting at verse 7.
Read.
And every one that shall be saved.
And every one of the few of the many that shall be saved. Keep reading.
And shall be able to escape.
And shall be able to escape. Read.
By his works.
They're going to escape by what?
By his works.
They're going to escape by his or her works. Keep reading.
And by faith.
And by his or her faith. Keep reading.
Whereby ye have believed.
Whereby ye have believed. Give me Matthew chapter 7 real quick. The few that will be saved by their works and their faith, which show their belief. And remember, in this world that has been made, or let me rephrase, remember, this world has been made for many, and the world to come has been made for few. Give me the book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13.
All right. The book of St. Matthew chapter 7, starting at verse 13.
Read.
Enter ye in at the strait gate.
What did Christ say?
Enter ye in at the strait gate.
To enter the strait gate is to enter into life. Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. Because strait is the gate.
Because straight is the gate, read.
And narrow is the way.
And narrow is the way that what?
Which leadeth unto life.
Straight is the gate and narrow is the way that leads to life, read.
But few
only few, read.
And few there be that find it.
Only few of the many are going to find this straight gate. Jump back up to verse 13.
Verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
The Lord commanded you to enter in at the straight gate. How do you enter in at the straight gate? In this narrow way. Or, give me 2 Ezra chapter 7. Hold this real quick. Or, what must you do to enter in at the straight gate? What must you do to enter in to life? Give me the book of 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 21.
All right, the book of 2 Ezra chapter 7, and we're starting at verse 21. For God hath given straight commandment.
God has given a straight commandment. God has given a straight commandment. Read.
To such as came.
To such of the children of Israel that have been born into this world. Keep reading.
What they should do to live.
What we should do to live. What we should do to find life. Keep reading.
Even as they came.
Even as they came. Read.
And what they should observe to avoid punishment.
And what we should observe to avoid punishment. The straight commandment of the Lord our God is to observe and do all his commandments. That's the straight commandment of the Lord our God. The straight commandment of the Lord our God is to observe and do all of his law. That's the straight commandment of the Lord our God. And if you perform this straight commandment, if you observe and do all of his laws, all of his commandments, you find life. You have the right to enter in at the straight gate. Go back to the book of Matthew chapter 7, read verse 13 real quick.
The book of St. Matthew chapter 7 verse 13.
Read.
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Christ said, enter ye in at the straight gate. In order to enter at the straight gate, you have to keep the straight commandment. You have to keep that straight commandment of your God. That's how you enter in at the straight gate. Keep reading, priest.
For wide is the gate.
For wide is the gate, and what?
And broad is the way.
And broad is the way, read.
That leadeth to destruction.
Wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, yo. And the many that are created in this world are going to enter in at that wide gate. And the many that are created in this world, they're following that broad way that leads to destruction. What you got?
Oh, finishing it up.
Finish it up.
And many there be which go therein. Thereat.
And many there be which go in thereat. Many that are created in this world are going through that wide gate.
They're going through that broad way.
Many that are created in this world are on that broad way, on that road to destruction.
Yeah, on that path. The path. Yeah.
Read the next verse. Read 14 again.
Verse 14. Because straight is the gate.
Because straight is the gate. Read.
And narrow is the way.
And narrow is the way. When you read it in other editions, I wanted to pull it out, but can't pull it out right now. When you read it in other editions of the Bible, matter of fact, Google that real quick. Get the Blue Letter Bible for me real quick. Get Matthew chapter 7 and verse 14 and read it in a couple different editions, so we can see what is this narrow way. What is this narrow way, yo? When you get it, when you pull it up, yo, let's read it in the NKJV first.
All right. New Testament 7. Start at 13.
No, I want 14.
Oh, 14. So
yeah, verse 14.
14.
Just to let you pull it up in different.
Yeah, it do. It's just this app. I got the app. Here you go. Cross reference.
Yeah, Bibles.
Translation and comparison. Alright, we got, you said the NKJV?
Yeah, read it in that one first.
Alright, so translations for Matthew 7 and 14 and the NKJV, which is the New King James Version. Because narrow is the gate, and difficult.
And what?
And difficult.
Read.
Is the way.
That narrow way is difficult, yo. That narrow way is difficult. Read that part again. Difficult is what?
And difficult is the way which leads to life.
That narrow way that leads to life is difficult.
And there are few who find it.
Read the NLT.
The NLT is what, the New Language Translation, something like that?
Yeah, the New Living Translation.
All right. Same chapters, Matthew 7 and 14. But the gateway to life is very narrow.
It's very narrow. Read.
And the road is difficult.
And the road is difficult. Read.
And only a few ever find it.
Only a few are going to find it. Read the ESV.
The ESV.
That's the English Standard Version.
Says in the same book, Matthew 7:14, for the gate is narrow, and the way is hard.
And the way is what?
And the way is hard that leads to life. And those who find it are few.
So that narrow way, that narrow road to enter the straight gate
you want to read
is
in
hard.
Spanish?
Let me finish this real quick. That narrow way, the narrow road to enter the straight gate is hard, Joe, or full of hardships. That narrow way or that narrow road to enter the straight gate is difficult and full of difficulties. But at the end of the way is life, though. At the end of the way is life. I don't need the Spanish version, bro. Give me, go back to 2nd Ezra. Go back to 2nd Ezra. Matter of fact, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 1. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 1.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7, starting at verse 1.
Read.
And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore.
Who was the angel that was sent unto Ezra the nights before? Hold this, get 2nd Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1. Let's see who this angel is. 2nd Ezra 4 and 1.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 4, starting at verse 1. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel.
Whose name is who?
Uriel.
This angel that was sent unto Ezra is Uriel, the angel Uriel. Is that it?
Gave me an answer.
Let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 1 again.
All right. And when I had made an end of the, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore.
The angel Uriel. Keep reading.
And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee.
So the angel Uriel was sent to speak on the behalf of God. He was sent to speak to Ezra on the behalf of God. Keep reading.
And I said, Speak on, my God.
Uh-huh.
Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great.
The sea is set in a wide place, and this sea is great and deep. Keep reading.
But put the cast the entrance where narrow and like a river.
But the entrance into this sea, this great and deep sea, is narrow. It's narrow like a river. Keep reading.
Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it?
Who can go in and look upon that sea, that great and deep sea? Who can go in and look upon it and rule it? Keep reading, priest.
Verse 5, where I picked up where I left off at. If he went not through the narrow.
If he went not through the narrow. Read.
How could he come into the broad?
If he went not through the narrow, he could never go into the broad. He could never go in and look upon the sea, that great and deep sea, and rule it. The only ones that can go and look upon that great sea, that great and deep sea, and rule it are those that go through the narrow. Keep reading, priest.
Verse 6.
Bring it out.
There is also another thing.
There's also another thing. Read.
A city is built.
A city is builded. Read.
And set upon a broad field.
And is set upon a broad field or a wide field. Read.
And is full of all good things.
And this city is full of all good things. Give me Revelation 21 real quick. Hold this. We'll come back. There's a city that is builded and set upon a broad field. Let's take a look at this city, yo. Let's see what Ezra saw. Give me the book of Revelation, chapter 21. Let's start at 16.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter 21, starting at verse 16. And the city lieth 4 squares, and the length is as large as the breadth.
The length is as long as its width. It say large or long.
Excuse me, so like it large.
As large as, so the length is as large as its width.
I said long.
I don't remember.
I
It
can't
don't
just making sure.
matter.
Just making sure. Yeah, it says
I'm
large.
I'm making sure I heard it right. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
large.
Read it one
I'm
more
gonna
time.
read from the top. In verse 16, and the city lieth 4 squares, and the length is as large as the breadth.
So the length is as large as the width. The breadth is the width. Keep reading.
And he measured the city with the reed.
Read.
12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth and the height of it are equal.
The length, the width, and the height are equal. Read.
And he measured the wall
He
thereof.
also measured the wall thereof. Read.
144 cubits.
Read.
According to the measures of a man.
According to the measures of a man. Read.
That is
to say what?
of the angel.
That is to say of the angel. So this isn't dealing with the measurements of men. This is dealing with the measurements of the angels. Keep reading.
Verse 18. And the building of the wall.
And the building of the wall. Read.
Of it was of jasper.
And the building of the wall of it is of jasper, yo.
Mm-hmm.
That precious jasper stone. Jump up to verse 12 for me real quick.
Verse 12. And had a wall great and high.
That wall that's made out of jasper is a wall that's great and high. Keep reading.
And had 12 gates.
And this wall has 12 gates on it. Keep reading.
And at the gates, 12 angels.
And at the gates there are 12 angels. Keep reading.
And names written thereon.
And there are names written on the gates. What are these names?
Which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
They have the names written, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Jump back down to 18 for me.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
And the building of the wall.
And the building of the wall, the building of this great and high wall. Read.
Of it was as jasper.
The building of this great and high wall is of jasper, yo. That beautiful jasper stone. Read.
And the city, gold.
And the city is of pure gold. Read that part again.
And the city was of pure gold.
Read.
Like unto clear glass.
The city is as pure gold, or pure gold that's made like clear glass. Jump down to verse 21.
Yes, sir. Verse 21. That ain't crazy. It's brown.
All praises. All praises.
21.
Bring it out.
And the 12 gates were 12 pearls.
And the 12 gates were made out of 12 pearls. Keep reading.
Every several gates was of one pearl.
Every several gates was made of a one-of-a-kind pearl. Yo. Every several gates was made of a one-of-a-kind pearl. Keep reading.
Every several gate was of one pearl.
Read.
And the street of the city.
And the street of this city that is made out of pure gold. Pure gold that is made like clear glass. Keep reading.
Of the city was pure gold.
And the streets of the city are pure gold. Keep reading.
And as it were, transparent glass.
The streets of the city are pure gold. Pure gold that is made like clear or transparent glass, yo. Give me the book of Tobit chapter 13 real quick. Damn. The city is made of pure gold, yo. Pure gold that's made like transparent glass.
You said Tobit.
Tobit chapter 13. The streets are paved with pure gold. Pure gold that is made like transparent glass, yo. That's beautiful. That's one of the reasons why the Bible says the eye have not seen. The eye has not seen. The eye has not seen gold that is made like pure gold that's made like clear, transparent glass. The eye has not seen that, yo. That's heavy, man. Read that real quick. Tobit chapter 13, verse 16.
The book of Tobit, chapter 13, starting at verse 16. For Jerusalem.
For what?
For Jerusalem.
If you did not know, that city that's made out of pure gold, that city that's made out of pure gold that's like clear glass is Jerusalem, yo. Read it again.
For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stones.
Jerusalem that city that's going to be made out of pure gold. Pure gold that's made like transparent glass will also be built up with sapphires and emeralds and all types of precious stones. Keep reading.
Thy walls and towers and battlements with pure gold.
The walls that are going to be so great and so high that are made out of jasper are also going to be made out of pure gold. Our towers, our battlements are going to be made out of pure gold. Keep reading.
And the streets of Jerusalem shall be paved with beryl and carbuncle and stones of Ophir.
The streets of the city that are paved with pure gold, that pure gold that's made like clear and transparent glass, those streets are also going to be paved with the beryl, the carbuncle, and all types of precious stones of Ophir, yo. Is that the end of that verse?
Yep.
Give me the book of St. John chapter 14. Give me St. John chapter 14. This city, Jerusalem, this city that Ezra saw builded and set upon a field, Joe, a broad field. This city is that city that's made out of pure gold, Joe. Straight up. Read that real quick.
St. John 14, what verse?
Start at verse 2.
The book of St. John, chapter 14, starting at verse 2.
Read.
Excuse me. In my Father's house.
What did Christ say?
In my Father's house.
Christ said, in my Father's house. The Father's house is making reference to Jerusalem. The Father's house is making reference to that city that is made out of pure gold. The Father's house is making reference to that city with streets that are paved with pure gold. That's the Father's house. Read it again.
In my Father's house.
And in that city, read.
Are many mansions.
What did Christ say?
Are many mansions.
Christ said, in that city, there are many mansions. Keep reading, priest.
If it were not so.
If it wasn't true,
I would have told you.
Christ said, I would have told you. Jump up to verse 1 for me.
Verse 1. Let not your heart be troubled.
Don't let your heart be troubled, Joe. Keep reading.
Ye believe in God.
You believe in God, right? You believe in God, right? Keep reading.
Believe also in me.
Well, believe in Christ and believe everything that Christ said. Believe in Christ and believe Christ when he said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. Let's go back to the book of 2nd Ezra. Let's go back to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and I want verse 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 6 again.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7 starting at verse 6.
Read.
There is also another thing. A city is built.
Ezra saw a city builded. A city builded with sapphire and emeralds and precious stones. A city builded of pure gold. Gold like clear glass. With the streets of gold or pure gold that's made like transparent glass. Read that part again, priest.
There is also another thing. A city is built.
This city is builded. If you have ears to hear, this city is builded. Keep reading.
And set upon a broad field.
And this city is set upon a broad field or a wide field. Keep reading.
And is full of all good things.
And this city is full of all good things. What are the good things? Hold this and give me 2nd Ezra chapter 8. What are the good things that we find in this city? Let's get a few of them, a few examples. 2nd Ezra 8 and 52.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 8 is starting at verse 52.
Read.
For unto you is paradise open.
This city is paradise. Read it again.
For unto you is paradise open.
Unto you that believe amongst the children of Israel, paradise is open. Keep reading.
The tree of life is planted.
The tree of life is planted in this city. Keep reading.
The time to come is prepared.
Read that part again.
The time to come is prepared.
The time to come is prepared. If you have ears to hear, then you need to hear that the scripture says the time to come is prepared. Keep reading.
Plenteousness.
In this city, there's plenteousness. There's riches. Keep reading.
Is made ready.
In this plenteousness in this city is made ready for you that believe. Read.
A city is built.
A what?
A city is built.
A city of pure gold has been builded. No, excuse me. A city of pure gold is builded. Keep reading.
And rest is allowed.
And in this city, there's rest. Rest is allowed in this city. Keep reading.
Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom.
In this city, there's perfect goodness And wisdom. Read.
Verse 53. The root of evil is sealed up.
There's no crime in this city. There's no war in this city. There's no sorrow in this city.
There's no sickness.
Keep reading. That's the next part.
Oh, my bad. Dropped the gun. Weakness and the moth is hid from you.
Weakness is making reference to the sickness and the infirmities. He said there will be no weakness in this city. He said, and the moth will be hid from you, meaning no more death. The beauty of this city will never fade. Keep reading, priest.
And corruption
all corruption is what?
Is fled into hell.
All corruption is fled into hell. Read.
To be forgotten.
To be forgotten. Out of sight, out of mind. Keep reading, priest.
Sorrow are past.
Sorrows are past. In this city, sorrows are past. Keep reading.
And in the end.
And in the end is what?
Is showed the treasures of immortality.
And in the end it showed the treasures of eternal life. In the end it showed the treasures of immortality. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 7. And let's read verse 6 again.
Yes, sir. The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 6.
Read.
There is also another thing. A city is built.
A city is builded. A city is builded. Read.
And set upon a broad field. And is full of all good things.
And is full of all good things. The tree of life is there. Immortality and plenteousness and richness and riches is there. Rest is allowed. Rest is allowed. Rest is there. Goodness and wisdom is there. These are just a few of the good things that are in this city. Keep reading.
The entrance thereof is narrow.
But the entrance into this city is narrow. Keep reading.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall.
And it's set in a dangerous place to fall. It is set in the world, Joe, which is a dangerous place to fall. Keep reading.
Like as if there were a fire on the right.
Like as if, you got to read up a little bit.
As if there were a fire on the right hand.
As if they were a fire on your right hand. Keep reading.
And on the left.
And on your left, read.
A deep water.
And on your left, a deep water. Hold this. Give me the book of 1 Peter chapter 4. What is the fire burning at your right hand? What does the fire burning at your right hand represent?
1 Peter chapter 4.
Give me 1 Peter 4, and let's read verse 12.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 4, starting at verse 12.
Read.
Beloved.
Beloved. The beloved are the children of Israel. You so-called black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are the beloved of God because you are the children of Israel. Read it again.
Beloved. Think it not strange.
Don't think it's strange. Read.
Concerning the fiery trials.
Don't think it's strange concerning what?
The fiery trials.
The fiery trials. Read.
Which is to try
Which
you.
are to try you. The fire that is burning on your right side represents the trials that are to try you. You know, when that fire is burning on your right side, you're going to feel the heat of that fire. That fire, a little bit of the flame might even jump on your shirt. Singe your sleeves. Jump on your pants. Singe your pant legs. That's the same thing with these trials. You're going to feel the heat of these trials, yo. You might feel a little bit of that flame jump on your shirt and singe your arm sleeves, yo. Finish it out, priest.
As though some strange things happen unto you.
Give me 1 Peter chapter 1. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 7.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 1 is starting at verse 7.
Read.
That the trial of your faith.
That the what?
That the trial of your faith.
That the trial of your faith. Read.
Being much more precious than of gold. That perish. Though it be tried.
Though it be what?
Though it be tried.
Read.
With fire.
Though it be tried with fire. Read.
Might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ.
That fire on the right side, that fire that's burning on your right hand, once again, that represents or constitute your trials or the trial of your faith. That's what the fire is making reference to. Give me the book of Isaiah real quick. And like you feel the heat, like you feel the heat from a raging fire, you're going to feel the heat from your trials. You're going to feel the heat from the trial of your faith, yo. My elder always talks about 3 trials of faith. That trial that deals with your faith deals with you personally. That trial that deals with your marriage. That trial that deals with you in the congregation. These are your trials. This is that fire that's burning on your right hand. But let's deal with the water. Give me Isaiah chapter 30. What is the water, that deep water? What is that deep water that is on your left? Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, starting at verse 20.
Read.
And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
The Lord has given us the bread of adversity. Read.
And the water.
And the what?
And the water.
And the water of what?
Of affliction.
The Lord has given us the water of affliction. Drop that. Give me 1 Kings chapter 22. Give me 1 Kings chapter 22. The water that is on your left hand. That deep water that is on your left, that represents affliction, yo. As a matter of fact, when you look at the annotation in your Bible next to affliction, it should say oppression. That water represents affliction and oppression. Give me 1 Kings 22 and verse 26.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 22, starting at verse 26.
And read it slowly.
And the king of Israel.
The king of Israel at this time was a man named Ahab. But in all actuality, we just going to call him Jezebel's husband, because that's what he was trying to act like. Read it again.
And the king of Israel said, take Micaiah.
Take Micaiah.
Micaiah.
Yep, Micaiah was a prophet. Read.
Take Micaiah and carry him back unto Ammon, the governor of the city.
Read.
And to Joash, the king's son.
Joash is one of Ahab's 70 sons. Keep reading.
And say, thus saith the king, put this fellow in the prison.
The king, Ahab, he put Micaiah into prison. He put the prophet into prison. Keep reading.
And feed him with bread of affliction.
And feed him with what? Read that part louder.
Feed him with bread of affliction.
And feed him with the bread of affliction. Read.
And with water of affliction.
And with what?
And with water of affliction.
And with the water of affliction, yo. Once again, the water makes reference to affliction, trouble, tribulation. The water makes reference to oppression. That's what the water is that's on your left. Finish it out.
Until I come in peace.
Now, if you read the whole story, you'll read that Ahab didn't come back in peace. That's another class. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go back to the book of 2 Ezra chapter 7, yo. The fire represents your trials, the trials of your faith. The water represents affliction or oppression. Go back to the book of 2 Ezra 7. Let's start at 7.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 7.
Read.
The entrance thereof is narrow.
The entrance into this city that is builded and set upon a broad field, the entrance into this city is narrow, yo. Keep reading.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall.
And it's set in a dangerous place to fall. Read.
Like as if there were fire on the right hand.
There's a fire on your right hand. This fire, once again, represents your trials, the trials of your faith. Keep reading.
Fire on the right hand, and on the left, a deep water.
And the water on the left represents affliction. It represents oppression. Keep reading.
Verse 8. And one only path between.
And there's only one path between them, yo. One path between what? Read.
Even between the fire and the water.
There's only one path between the fire and the water. Read.
So small.
So small. This path is so small, so narrow. Read.
That there could but one man go there at once.
Only one man can go at once. Give me Proverbs 4. Hold this. Give me Proverbs 4, yo. There's one path. One narrow, small path leading to this narrow entrance, leading to this straight gate. But on the other side of this straight gate is a city that's built and set upon a broad field. Give me the book of Proverbs chapter 4, yo. Proverbs chapter 4, let's start at verse 26, because there's one path leading to this narrow entrance, yo. And on the right hand, there's a fire, which represents your trials. On the left hand, you got the water, which represents the affliction and the oppression, yo. Give me Proverbs 4 and 26.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 26. Ponder the path of thy feet.
Consider the narrow path of your feet. Consider that small path of your feet. Read.
Let all thy ways be established.
And let all your ways be established. We're going to find out how you establish all your ways. But keep reading.
Turn not to the right hand.
Don't turn toward the right hand. Because if you turn to the right hand, you turn to a fire. Keep reading.
Nor to the left.
Don't turn to the left. Because if you turn to the left, you're turning to a deep water. Keep reading.
From evil. Remove thy foot from evil.
Instead, remove your foot from evil. Is that it?
Yeah.
Give me Deuteronomy chapter 5. How do you remove your foot from evil, yo? How do you keep yourself from turning to the right and falling into a fire? How do you keep yourself from turning to the left and falling into a deep water? Give me Deuteronomy 5 and 32.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 32.
Read.
Ye shall observe to do, therefore, as the Lord your God hath commanded you.
This is that straight commandment that we read about earlier today. Read it again.
Ye shall observe to do.
The straight commandment of God says ye are to observe and do. You are to observe and apply what?
To do, therefore, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside.
Ye shall not what?
Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand.
You shall not turn aside to the right hand. Read.
Or to the left.
You shall not turn aside to the left hand. If you observe and do all the commandments that the Lord thy God is giving you, you will not turn to the right nor to the left. If you keep that straight commandment, you will not turn to the right or to the left. Give me Joshua chapter 1 real quick. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. The observation and application of that straight commandment is what keeps your foot from turning to the right and burning in a fire. The observation and application of that straight commandment is what keeps your foot from turning to the left and you falling into a deep water, yo. And that straight commandment, that's what establishes your way on that path, that narrow path, that small path. Joshua 1 and 7.
The book of Joshua, chapter 1, starting at verse 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous.
You have to be strong and very courageous when you're on a narrow path. A narrow path that's so small, only one man can go at a time. And on both sides, danger. One side, fire. One side, water. You got to be strong and courageous in order to do that.
What they say, walking that tightrope.
You got to be strong and courageous in order to do that, yo. Read it again.
Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do.
That thou mayest observe and do, or observe and apply what?
According to all the law.
According to what?
All the law.
According to all the law. That's the straight commandment of God. The straight commandment of God is for you to observe and do all that is according to his law. That is the straight commandment of God, yo. And if you observe that straight commandment, if you observe and do all that's according to his law, you find life. You live. You avoid punishment. Finish it out, Bruce. Matter of fact, read it again.
From the top?
Yeah, read it again from the top.
All right. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses, my servant, commanded thee. Turn not from it.
Turn not from it. Read.
To the right.
If you turn from the law and you turn to the right, you are going to fall in a fire. Keep reading.
Or to the left.
If you turn from it, if you turn from the law to the left, you are going to fall in a deep water. Is that it?
Nope. That thou mayest prosperous whithersoever thou goest.
But if you consider your path, if you establish your way with this straight commandment, the Lord said you're going to prosper wherever you go. Let's go back to the book of 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 8.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7, starting at verse 8.
Read.
And one only path between them both.
Read.
Even between the fire and the water. So small.
So what?
So small that there could but one man go there at once.
In order to enter this city, you're going to have to travel this narrow path. This path that is so narrow or so small that only one man can go at once. Hold this. Give me Ezekiel chapter 14. Give me Ezekiel chapter 14 in verse 20. The only way to enter this city is to pass the dangers that is set before you. Yep.
Is that Ezekiel 14:20?
Yep, Ezekiel 14 and 20. The only way to enter in this city is to travel this narrow path. Read that real quick. And you have to travel this path alone. Read that real quick.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, starting at verse 20. Though Noah, Daniel, and Job were
Daniel, and Job were what?
Were in it.
Noah, Daniel, and Job were born into this world. Keep reading.
As I live, saith the Lord
Read.
God, they shall deliver neither son nor daughter.
They shall deliver neither son nor daughter. Read.
They shall
but what?
Deliver their own souls.
They shall but deliver their own souls. Read.
By their righteousness.
Through their own righteousness, yo. Go back to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 9. Everybody travels this straight and narrow road alone. You have to travel this road according to your own righteousness. Read that real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 9.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it,
read.
How shall he receive this inheritance?
You can't. If you don't travel that narrow road, if you don't pass that straight road, that small road that's set up between the fire and the water, you can't inherit this city. You can't go look on it. You can't rule it. Keep reading, priest. What verse was that? Was that the end of 9?
Yep, that was go to 10.
Let's jump down to 17.
17. Make sure.
We almost done. Hold
on. Make sure we're at 9.
Oh, well, read the whole thing again then.
If the city now were given unto a man for an inheritance,
Uh-huh.
if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?
He can't. The only way that you can receive the inheritance of that city and all the good things that are in that city is if you pass the dangers that are set before you by traveling that small and narrow road. That's the only way. Jump down to verse 17 for me.
All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 verse 17. Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bear of rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things.
The righteous will inherit those things that we read about. Those things including the great city and all the goodness that's in that city. The righteous will inherit that. Keep reading.
But that the ungodly should perish.
But the ungodly is going to die. Those that live ungodly are going to die. Keep reading.
Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer great things.
Nonetheless, the righteous are going to suffer straight things. Read.
And hope for wide.
But the righteous are going to hope for the wide. The wide is making reference to that city that is builded upon a broad field or a wide field. The righteous are going to suffer straight things, but hope for the wide. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me Hebrews chapter 11. The righteous are hoping for salvation. The righteous are looking for a new Jerusalem. The righteous are looking for the kingdom of heaven.
Bring it up.
Give me that real quick. Give me the book of Hebrews chapter 11, and I want verse 14 real quick.
The book of Hebrews chapter 11, and starting at verse 14.
Read.
For they that say such things.
They that say such things. Those that speak the righteousness of our God. Read.
Declare plainly.
Declare plainly what?
That they seek a country.
We declare plainly that we seek a country, yo. That's what we're declaring plainly. We're speaking it plainly to the world. Keep reading.
And truly.
And truly what?
If they have been mindful of that country.
Truly, if our fathers had been mindful of what country? Read.
Of that country from whence they came.
If our
out.
fathers would have been mindful of that country in which they came out, that country being Jerusalem, read.
They might have had opportunity to have returned.
We might have had opportunity to return. The Lord might have given us place of return. But keep reading.
Verse 16.
But what?
But now.
Read.
They desire a better country.
But today we desire a better country, yo. We desire that country in which that city that is builded out of pure gold. We desire a country in which the streets are paved with pure gold. That's what we desire today. Let's go back to the book of 2nd Ezra, yo. Go back to the book of 2nd Ezra. Give me verse 18 again.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 18.
Read.
Nevertheless.
Nevertheless, what?
The righteous shall suffer straight things.
The righteous are going to suffer straight things. Read.
And hope for what?
But still hope for that kingdom. Still hope for that heaven, that paradise. But the righteous are going to suffer straight things. What are the straight things? Jump up to verse 10.
Verse 10. And I said, it is so, Lord.
Read.
Then said he unto me, even so also is the Israel portion.
Read.
Because for their sake
Uh-huh.
I made the world.
The Lord made the world for our sakes. Read.
And when Adam transgressed my statutes,
read,
then was decreed that now is done.
Read.
Then where the entrance of this world made narrow,
Uh-huh.
full of sorrow,
Full of sorrow. Read.
and travail,
And full of travail. Read.
they are but few.
Our days are few. Read.
And evil.
Our days are full of evil. Read.
Full of pearls.
Full of pearls as well. Read.
Full of pearls.
Uh-huh.
And very painful.
And very painful. Jump back down to verse 18 again.
Verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things.
Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things. The straight things is dealing with the sorrow, the travail, the evils, the perils, the pain. The righteous are going to experience these things in this world, in this life. Keep reading, priest.
And hope for wide.
But the righteous hope for the wide. The righteous hope for the wide. Matter of fact, hold this. I didn't even think about this, but I do want to bring this out. Give me the book of Isaiah 40. Give me Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 1. It just popped in my mind. Give me Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 1. The righteous suffer the straight things, the sorrow, the travail, the evils. But we still hope for the wide, yeah? Give me Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 1 real quick.
The book of Isaiah chapter 40, starting at verse 1. Comfort ye, my people, saith your God.
Comfort ye, my people, saith the Lord. Read.
Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem.
Speak comfortably to the people of Jerusalem. And now is the time to speak comfortably to the people of Jerusalem. Because our people are mourning. Our people are going through hardships. We are struggling like hell today.
Our gates have failed us.
Our leaders have definitely failed us, yo. Our leaders have definitely failed us. Somebody has to speak comfortable to these brothers and sisters right now. Like for somebody needs to give these words of comfort to Breonna Taylor's family. They need these words to hear this comfort, yo. They need to know that in this city that is coming, they need to know that part of the goodness that's in this city is justice. True justice for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child is coming in this city, yo.
Facts.
These are the words of comfort that we need to be given to our people. Drop that. Give me the book of 2 Corinthians. Give me 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17. The righteous in this world are going to experience straight things. 2 Corinthians 4 and 17.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 17.
Read.
For our light affliction,
read.
Which is but for a moment.
Our light affliction is only for a moment, yo. Read.
Worketh for us.
And our light affliction works for us what?
A far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory.
All praises to the Most High. Give me Romans 8. Give me Romans chapter 8. Our affliction is a light affliction. And this light affliction is only for a moment, yo. It's only for a moment. Romans chapter 8 and verse 18.
Romans 8, starting at verse 18.
Read.
For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time.
Hey, I reckon, or I know. I don't know if you know, but I know that the suffering for this present time, keep reading.
present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed.
The suffering of this present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory that is soon to be revealed for us that believe, yeah? For us that believe and show it through our works and through our faith. The glory that's coming cannot be compared to this affliction that we're having here in this world right now. But I know we're going through affliction because go back to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 18. If you want to know why our people are being shot down in the streets or being in prison for years on years.
Yo, that ain't crazy. Why you talking about that? I just saw a jank on my feed. I should have sent that jank to you. The lady is doing a life for having 2 ounces of marijuana down in Mississippi.
Damn.
And
yeah.
For 14 years.
See, that's happy because that's about to go into the next part. When I was talking about the prison sentences, let me rephrase because I want to make sure I'm clear. When I'm talking about our people being put in prison, I'm talking about the righteous that were put in prison. You know what I mean? Like Joseph and them. Or like we just read with Micaiah and them. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the righteous that were put in prison. The righteous that suffered. They suffered straight things in those times. And guess what? We suffer straight things today. The righteous are struggling today. Read that again. 2nd Ezra 7 and 18.
Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things.
The righteous suffer straight things, yo.
And
Read.
Hope for why?
But we are to hope for the wide. Hope for salvation. Hope for that kingdom. Keep reading, priest.
Hope on Christ.
Hope on the Lord. Read.
For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things.
Those of our people that do wickedly, they suffer the straight things too. Like what you was just saying with the sister. Unless does she know she Israel or no?
No, I don't think she knows she is.
Yeah, so the wicked of our people, they suffer straight things as well. I'm not saying she's wicked. I don't know if she's evil, but she ain't in this truth, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, matter of fact, we about to close out, though. I want to read one more part, because I want to say this. Go to 2nd Ezra 7 and read verse 6 again.
All right.
Read verse 6 again.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 6.
Read.
There is also another thing. A city is built.
A city is builded. A city is builded. Spell that word build real quick. I just want to put it out there. Spell that real quick.
Build. B-U-I-L-D-E-D.
So a city is builded. When we put an E-D on the end of any word, it's talking past tense, right?
Facts.
If you have ears to hear, he's telling you a city is builded. It's already been prepared, Joe. It's already been prepared. Let's close out with 2nd Ezra 2. 2nd Ezra chapter 2, and let's start at verse 10.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse starting at 10.
Read.
Thus saith the Lord unto Ezra, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem.
Ezra was commanded to tell you and I that the Lord will give us the kingdom of Jerusalem. It's not a might. It's not a maybe.
We ain't got to ask for it.
The Lord will give us the kingdom of Jerusalem.
We just got to patiently wait for it.
Keep reading, priest.
Which I would have given unto Israel.
Which he would have given to our fathers if they would have been mindful of that country that they came out of. He would have given it to our fathers. Keep reading, priest.
Their glory also will I take unto me.
He says he's going to take our glory unto him, yo. Read.
And give these the everlasting tabernacles.
He's going to give us our everlasting tabernacles. Our everlasting tabernacles is talking about the streets and the cities of Jerusalem. Our everlasting... Jumping the gun on me, but you're right. Our everlasting tabernacles is making reference to those many mansions that Christ told you about in John 14 and 2.
And he wouldn't have told us if it wasn't there.
And he wouldn't have told us if it wasn't real. Keep reading.
That's hard. These everlasting tabernacles which I have prepared for them.
Read.
They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor.
Remember, in the city, the tree of life is planted. Those that enter the straight gate, they will be blessed to partake of the tree of life. Keep reading, priest.
That sweet Savior. They shall neither labor.
Remember, in that city, rest is allowed. Rest is allowed in that city. So in that city, the children of Israel don't labor. Keep reading.
Man, I can't even picture that.
That's why the Bible brought it back again. That's why the scriptures say, I have not seen. the eye have not seen. That's why the scriptures say that. Read.
They said, they should neither labor. That's all I see around here.
Nothing but labor around this day. Keep reading, priest.
Nor be weary.
Nor shall we be weary. Read.
Go.
Do what?
Go.
The Lord said go. Go. Worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Believe his son. Believe the gospel. Keep the commandments. Have faith. Go. Read.
And ye shall receive.
And you shall receive. It's not an if, and, maybe, or might. You shall receive. Keep reading.
Pray for a few days.
Pray for a few days. Pray for a few nights. Pray for a few weeks. Pray for a few months. Pray for fewer years. Read.
That they may be short.
And pray that the days and the nights and the weeks and the months and the years are shortened. Read. Finish it out real quick.
All right. The kingdom is already prepared for you.
Read it again.
The kingdom is already prepared for you.
If you have ears to hear, you need to hear that the kingdom is already prepared for you, yo. This city that is set upon a broad field is already builded for you. All you have to do is endure to the end. Keep the commandments in the faith of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and endure to the end. Read that part again.
The kingdom is already prepared for you.
Read.
Watch.
Just open your eyes up. Sit back. Observe. And watch. With that, I'm done. You got something you want to add, Priest?
Oh, yeah. When the days are few, I just want to chime in. Shoot, we are already in, the 7th month going into the 8th. Being October, I know we're calendar year, and the Gregorian calendar call this the 10th. Going into the 10th month, call this the 9th. But if you go by the Israelite, you know what I mean, if you do the month of Abib the right way, this would be the 7th month. But time is passing by quick.
Yeah.
So,
matter of fact, precept, get 1 Corinthians chapter. Matter of fact, give me 1 Corinthians 7 and 29. Because you're right. The time is passing by quickly, yo. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29.
Because we damn near almost going into a new year. Well, it's going to be a harsh. We got to get through the winter first.
All right, break it out. Read this real quick.
We got 1 Corinthians 7 and 20. You said 29?
Gone.
29.
Call it and read it.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 29.
Read.
But this I say, brethren, time is short.
Read that part again.
But this I say, brethren, time is short.
The time is short. The time is short, yo. Go to the book of 2 Ezra chapter 9. 2 Ezra chapter 9 and give me verse 1. The time is short. Salvation is nearer than what we believe.
The book of 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1.
Read.
He answered me then and said,
Said what?
Measure thou the time diligently in itself.
It's up to you to measure the time diligently in itself. And you should measure the time carefully and diligently because the time is short. Keep reading.
And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before,
read.
Then shalt thou understand.
Then shalt thou understand what?
That it is the same. It is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Right now, the highest is visiting the world in which he made, yo. And you know why the highest is... Matter of fact, do you know how the highest visits the world in which he made? Hold this. Give me Isaiah 29 and verse 6. How does the highest visit the world in which he made? Give me Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6 real quick.
The book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6.
Read.
Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts.
The highest visits the Lord of hosts. How?
With thunder.
He visits with thunder. Read.
And with earthquake.
He visits with earthquake. Read.
And great noise.
He visits with great noise. Read.
With storms.
With what?
With storm.
And what?
And tempest.
And tempest. That's tornadoes, hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons, tropical storms. Read.
And the flame of devouring fire.
And the flame of devouring fire. That's how the Lord visits the earth.
Oh, those are fire tornadoes.
And guess what? You see that everywhere. Record-breaking wildfires on the West Coast.
Right.
Record-breaking wildfires on the West Coast.
Fire.
Wildfires in Siberia. Wildfires all over the Arctic.
But they said Siberia is 100 degrees
Yep.
but mostly ice.
Yep. 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 You know why the earth? You know why the Lord is visiting the earth?
100 degrees. Mostly ice, bro. You know, that'll shock me, bro. I'm stepping outside, it's 100 degrees, they got ice on the ground. Snow on the ground still. Ain't nothing melt away. What the world going on? That's like that snow we get here when it comes and then go away for like 8 months. Shoot. Hey man, but this is a good lesson, priest. It's a good lesson.
All praises to the Most High.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man.
Hey, go back to 2nd Ezra 9 because I'm not gonna go too long. We about to close up.
All right.
2nd Ezra 9 and verse
3.
Was it 3?
Yeah,
No. Read 2 real quick.
All right. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world.
So the highest, he visits the world which he had made in thunder, in storm, in fire, in tempest, and loud noise. Why is he visiting this world? Go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 18.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 18.
Read.
And it said.
And it said. What is the it? The it is the word of God. I know some people say we can't find Christ in the Old Testament. But right here, Christ is in the Old Testament. Matter of fact, we're going to read it. We're going to read it. Start at verse 11.
Verse 11. I answered then and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens, whereof thou showest me parts the last night.
Read.
So he answered and said unto me, stand up upon thy feet, and hear a mighty sounding voice.
Read.
And it shall be as it were a great motion.
When you hear this mighty sounding voice, it's going to feel like a great motion or a great movement. Keep reading.
I got annotation in my book. It says earthquake.
It's going to feel like a great earthquake. Keep
but
reading.
the place where thou standest.
But the place where you're standing, read.
Shall not move.
It's not going to be moved. Keep reading.
And therefore, when it speaketh, be not afraid.
So when this voice speaks, do not be afraid. Read.
For the for the word is of the end.
For the word that this voice speaks is of the end. Read.
And the foundations of the earth is understood.
From the beginning of the earth is understood. Read.
And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved.
And why? Because the speech of these things trembleth and is moved. Read.
For it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed.
The end of these things must be changed. The end of this earth, the end of these heavens, they must be changed. Read.
And it happened that when I have heard it,
read,
I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold,
what?
There was a voice that spake.
There was a voice that spake. Read.
And the sound of it was like the sound of many waters.
And the voice that spake was like the sound of many waters. Who is this that speaks with a voice that sounds like the sounds of many waters? Give me that in Revelation 1. Read verse 1 first and then jump down.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, starting at 1.
Read.
The revelation of Jesus Christ.
This is the revealing of Jesus Christ, the Hamashiach Yahushua. Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14.
His
head and his hairs were white like wool.
White in color, woolly in texture. Read.
As white as snow.
Fully white. Read.
And his eyes.
And his eyes what?
Were as a flame of fire.
His eyes are like a flame of fire, meaning they're red. Keep reading.
And his feet.
And his feet like what?
Like unto fine brass.
His feet like unto fine brass. Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
Christ is a so-called black man. Keep reading.
And his voice.
And his what?
And his voice.
And his what?
As the sound of many waters.
And his voice is as the sound of many waters, yo. This is making reference to Christ. That's who that's making reference to. Go back to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, and read verse 18.
Verse 18. The book of 2nd Ezra.
Matter of fact, start at 17.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, and verse 17.
Read.
And it happened that when I have heard it, I stood up upon my feet.
When Ezra heard that voice, he stood upon his feet. Read.
And hearkened.
And he listened. Read.
And behold, there was a voice that spake. And the sound of it was like the sound of many waters.
And the voice And the sound of this voice was like the sound of many waters. This is the voice of Jesus the Christ, the Hamashiach Yahushua. Keep reading.
Verse 19.
Verse 18.
Verse 18. Salaki. Verse 18. And it shall say.
No. Read it again.
And it said.
And it said. Read.
And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh.
He said, the days come when I will begin to draw nigh, when I will begin to visit the earth, or to visit the world. Read.
And to visit them that dwell upon the earth.
And to visit them that dwell upon the earth. To visit the inhabitants of the earth. Keep reading.
And will begin to make inquisition.
This is what he's visiting the earth for. Read that part again.
And will begin to make inquisition.
He's visiting the earth to make inquisition, yo. That's questioning. To make investigation. Keep reading.
Of them what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness.
The Lord is visiting the earth to make inquisition upon those that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, yo. You know who has hurt unjustly? You know who has done that? The Edomite. They hurt unjustly, yo. You know who hurts unjustly? The people who murder another people and hold themselves not guilty. That's who hurt unjustly. The Lord is visiting the earth in fire, and in storm, and in tempest, and in thunder, and in loud noise to make inquisition. He's also making inquisition upon our people too. Can't leave our people out. All of our people that don't want demon time, the Lord is making inquisition. All of our people that are sliding, the Lord is making inquisition, yo. He's making inquisition upon all that inhabit the earth that hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. That's why the Lord is visiting the earth, yo. That's all I wanted to bring out.
And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled.
And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, that's salvation. But we ain't going to go into that right now. That's a whole nother class. I actually might do a class about that later on down the line, yo. But if it be in the Lord's will, right? If it be in the Lord's will.
Like I said, looking around, time getting shorter and shorter.
The time is short. Hey, but got anything you want to say?
No, just like we always open like the same way we close out.
All praises. So we about to do that. The same way we start is the same way we close out, yo. We start by giving all praises and honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We close out by giving all honor to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through his only begotten Son, Jesus the Christ. Secondly, I want to say to all my brothers and sisters out there of the 12 tribes of Israel, yo, Shalom, Shalom, and Shalom, yo. Check us out on YouTube at Strait Gate of Israel, Facebook, Holy Nation of Israel. You can find me on Facebook, Lithiyel Ben Israel on Facebook, brethren.
You can find me on Facebook as well, Ron Ben of Israel.
Hey, like, comment, share, subscribe, yo. Just support the truth, man. With that, I say Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.